What's up, collective? It's pouring rain. I'm doing laundry at the laundromat. I'm like, this is perfect weather for a past life reading. So I got out my past life deck. I haven't used it in a while. Just gonna shuffle. I like to pick out a few cards that call to me and see. I'm hearing Ireland, so Celtic card. I feel like it's coming out. Persecution. There's like, I'm seeing wisdom. Something about a karmic partner. So we have like wisdom, karmic partner, persecution, Celtic. I don't know why I heard Roman. Love life might come out. I'm seeing a ship. Health. So you could have had health problems, or you were in early health industries of medicine, or a scientist of some kind, or you're an alchemist with a snake. Too many, but leaving to. There's that love life. I'm not going to take it, but I did see it. I'm going to try to make these come out one at a time. Angels. So there is some kind of like, people thought that you were able to channel directly to the angels and you healed people that way. Persecution. Okay, so you were persecuted for this. You were persecuted for your wisdom. Like, you healed people and they didn't understand it. And back then, if they didn't understand it and they feared it, they just killed you. You know, they were very, like, primitive in the mental space. Let's get a few more. Native American. Okay. So it could be like shaman here. It doesn't necessarily have to be here in the States, but it could be. Definitely felt that early healer vibe with Native American and now and health. I feel like shamanism is here. Angels, you know, you could have been an earth angel and you were persecuted for your gifts. Could be a Salem reference, but it doesn't have to. Knighthood. Scribe or writer, and finances. So I feel like you were paid for your wisdom. You wrote books. With this knighthood, I feel like you were some kind of prodigy of your time in the medical industry. That's why you wrote books. But you were very honored and loved. Karmic relationship. Why shit you not? There it is. Love life, karmic relationship. Am I precognitive or what? Shut the front door. You can't make this shit up. But didn't I not? While I was shuffling, I said love life. It popped, didn't come out. But I said wisdom. I'm seeing the wisdom card. I'm seeing karmic relationship. Persecution, I saw that. Definitely tapping into you today. Orphan. So I feel like some of you might have lost your parents young. Grew up in the church. Grew up where there was a place that you could have education, whereas you wouldn't have had education if you if you weren't an orphan. Because you were an orphan, the church took you in and taught you stuff, taught you how to write, gave you a trade. So although it was very sad, I feel like it was better for you in the end, because your parents, I feel like, died of some kind of plague. Orbs popping out. These are my channeled cards. So we'll see. These could be details about you, your life. We'll see what else we get about your past life here. Good at fighting. So you definitely were a knight of some kind. A leader for sure. Captain, general energy. You were in a leadership role. They came out together. So definitely you were respected for sure. Ooh. You were a bad parent, Pops. But I feel like you were a little bit narcissistic. You liked the glory that war brought you, but you were gone a lot for war. So I feel like you're a little bit neglectful, but I don't feel like we should blame you because you grew up as an orphan. I feel like you just had a frosty heart in general. Newspaper club. I feel like this is a little bit early to be a newspaper, but there could be newspapers because newspapers are very old. But to me, I'm seeing like a scribe on a scroll for some of you. Definitely you wrote news, especially in the medical field. Like you were in charge of spreading the newest technologies in the medical world. Like this is how you help women have babies. This is how you help people, that are old. As you were discovering things, you were passing it on. Your body is still in the sea. So you died at sea. Your body was never recovered in that life. You're still in there in some way. You were a sex addict, so I feel like you had a lot of kids. That's why I'm getting the bad parent, because you just fathered kids and you moved on. And back then you didn't communicate with people unless you were married. So I just feel like wherever you traveled as a war hero, you got tail. Like women were just flocking to you, like, oh my God, he's so sexy, he can fight. And you just made babies wherever you went. You probably didn't even know about half of them. Fisherman, good with working on the sea, and you died on sea too, so that could have been one of the trades you learned as well. You were a humanitarian and helped take care of people in your time by getting them food, especially during war and battle. You run out of food. You need your soldiers to fight. You were the type of leader that would get up early and go fishing and bring something back for your men to eat so they would have energy to fight. Lived in America. So you had Native Americans. So I feel like you could have been fighting early colonial people, colonists trying to settle in your turf. Fighting back. Dirty humor. So yeah, I feel like some of you were a little bit of a chauvinist. I've seen myself in past lives as men. I know that I come back as both, and most people do. So in this life, you were definitely a man. I kind of get like Gaston from Beauty and the Beast energy. You could have been a slave and died, or was a slave and was freed. I don't feel like you were a slave. I think you were a victim of being an orphan, and you got kind of locked in a cult, and your way of getting out of it was learning how to fight and the military needing you more than the church. Your song, you sang or played an instrument. I can read. So definitely musician energy. I feel like that's something you did to entertain. Like after the battle at night, you probably played music or wrote about your experiences. A lot of people liked you and looked up to you. You were definitely like Gaston in Beauty and the Beast. The whole town wanted to be him, wanted to date him, even though he wasn't the best person. Traveled by sea for sure. Again, acknowledgement. I feel like, I don't know if this is relevant to this past life, but we just had the Titanic anniversary. That could be relevant. You betrayed your family in your life. I think you picked glory and money over staying with a wife and kids. Like you kind of took the money and ran. So you were leaving orphans, poor orphans in your wake. You were royalty or had very important work. You had great responsibility. I don't feel like you were royalty. I feel like you were a knight and worked for royalty, and you were given a lot of privilege, and that kind of made you spoiled. You got out of a bad or rough marriage in time. Most didn't. You married again, and it was a very happy relationship. So maybe that's why you were hard to love, hard to give your heart to, because you did, and somebody fucked you over, and maybe you had to leave the kids behind. Maybe this person was too or maybe it wasn't your kid at all. You worked with animals. I definitely feel like in your war efforts, you definitely had a horse that you were close to. Yep, male in this life for sure. You lived outside, tent, etc. You were a traveling soldier. You had to face a very difficult enemy, and they nearly took all you had, including your life. But you outsmarted them, and you won against the enemy. But you did die at sea, though. But you did end up winning the battle.